Hello families, this is Miss Black. I wanted to make a quick video for you to help you work with your students this upcoming week to practice for the CBA, which is next week. We're going to be starting it on Wednesday after the election break. So I really encourage you as I go through this video to watch it with your kids and then to also do some of these practices with some nonfiction texts. So this one example that we're going to be talking about on the CBA and that they'll be assessed on is the main idea and the supporting details. Now we've talked about this in several different ways, and the one that was really effective with the kids was to think of a target. So what we did was we actually made a human target and we analyzed each part of the target to kind of understand that main idea and the supporting details. So here's an illustration that I made, and as you can see that this whole target represents either an article or a paragraph, a section of an article. And then the dot in the middle represents the focus. That's what we're aiming for. And that is the main idea. And then these little rings around the main idea or the focus are the supporting details that really highlight what the main idea is talking about. So that's what we did, and we actually made a human target. So if you wanted to, you could make a human target with some of the siblings or other friends that your child might have at his house to kind of really drive this home. But we're going to do an example here on the board, and this is actually one that we've already done. It's almost been 2 weeks since we've done this one example, but it was from a book, So You Want to Be President, and it was on page 41 if you ever wanted to look it up. And this is a great book because we actually used a couple other examples to really understand the main idea and supporting details. And they really liked it because it's funny and silly as well. So I'm going to read the paragraph, and then we're going to talk about the main idea and the 2 supporting details. One thing is certain, if you want to be president and stay president, be honest. Harry Truman paid for his own postage stamps. Grover Cleveland was famous for his motto, tell the truth. Other presidents weren't so honest. Democrat Bill Clinton was impeached for lying under oath. Republican Richard Nixon's staff broke into Democratic headquarters to steal campaign secrets. He covered up the crime and then lied about it. That was the end of Richard Nixon as president. So this was one of the things that we did to understand this concept. And as you can see, I already have it written on the board, but we actually talked about it with the kids. So what is the focus of this paragraph? And that is that the president should always be honest. And so that's kind of the essence of this paragraph. It's not spelled out in the paragraph, but that's what we inferred from this information about Harry Truman and Bill Clinton and Richard Nixon and Grover Cleveland. So then what we did was we had to find supporting details in the text. That's one thing that we're trying to really get the kids to understand, is that they have to find their evidence within the text. So first what we did was we underlined it and then we wrote it down here on the bottom. But for today's sake, I'm just going to underline. So one that we found was an example of Grover Cleveland was famous for his motto, tell the truth. So we underlined that and then we wrote it as number 1 as our first supporting detail. The second detail that we used was he, being Richard Nixon, covered up the crime and then lied about it. That was the end of Richard Nixon as president. And that kind of also just supported that idea that we should always be honest, otherwise we might get, you know. So that was one way that we really understood main idea and supporting details. Now within the next couple of days, I'm going to be sending home some weekly readers from Scholastic News, and they are basically nonfiction texts, and I really want your students to practice this idea of main idea and supporting details, because I think it would really, really help them to better be equipped for the CBA, because the more that we practice and prepare, the more confident we'll be as we step into this test. And it will be over 3 days, and it's kind of lengthy. There's 2 parts. So the first part is this main idea and supporting detail with a nonfiction text, and the second part is character development, which I'll make in another video on tomorrow. So that's what we're doing, and I hope that you found this video valuable. If you have any questions, you can feel free to email me or call the school. Thank you.